doesn't matter if you listen to Black Sabbath, Static X, Lorna Shore, Bad Omens, or many, many, many other artists. You're listening to metal. Metal artists approach composition in a unique way compared to most other genres because of metal's unique tonal palette and its idiosyncratic tendencies. This video is not about how to write a metal song. It is, however, supposed to help you approach writing metal music in a smarter way. I'm going to assume that you're somewhat familiar with metal as a genre already, as in you're not going to be surprised if there's distorted guitars or screaming vocals. So with all that, let's dive into my top 5 metal songwriting tips. Number 1, cater to your singer. Most metal songs are based around riff ideas. Without intelligent planning, this could leave your singer with very little room to actually do their job. If your singer screams, it can be treated like percussion, and therefore there is a wider range of options that they can work with. If your singer sings, then you need to provide the right support so your singer can actually sing. Most riffs are harmonically static. In other words, most riffs pick one chord and don't stray from that for the entirety of the riff. If you try to write a melody over one chord, you're going to find it a lot more difficult than if you had 2 or more chords to use. This can be fine and is often what's used in verse ideas, but for the chorus it's a lot harder to get away with. Static harmony is fine if your singer screams or shouts. If there's little to no pitch to be aware of, then there's going to be little to no melody, and loads of bands do this. Angel of Death by Slayer, Symbolic by Death, Roots Bloody Roots by Sepultura, Bleed by Meshuggah, and myriad other examples display a static or mostly static backing for the singer. In all of these examples, the vocals become a more rhythmic element to the song. However, melodic singers are massively assisted by harmonic movement. It can be a very simple harmony, but you've got to give the singer a fighting chance. Screamers can also use harmonic movement too, though. Listen to Lamb of God or Cradle of Filth or Children of Bodom, and you'll see easily how harmonic movement in their choruses and verse makes the singer sound different to if it were static. For singers, explain to your band that melody is heavily aided by harmonic movement. Request that the music underneath the vocal sections contains, at the very least, some harmonic movement. For band members, try to improvise over a static backing track and then try over one with harmonic movement. You most likely find that the improvisation sounds more professional on the track with harmonic movement, even if you play the exact same things. Of course, that is assuming that both the backing tracks are in the same key. And final note on this one, vocal range matters. If you've written the perfect melody that climaxes on E, but your singer can only sing to C sharp, then you need to detune your instruments by 3 semitones. My highest comfortable belt note is G. If I want the climax of my song to be on the 5th scale degree, then I need to tune to drop C or C standard. If I refuse that and stay in E or drop D, then I'll need to rewrite my melodies. However, rewriting these melodies could take the song from sounding great to just sounding good. On the other hand, it could make it go from good to great. The point is, experiment and help your singers out. Number 2, dynamics. Too many metal songs are relentless with energy and show little to no variation through the entire track. Go to a metal show in your area. Most likely, one of the bands will play and there will just be relentless double kicks for the entire set. Sure, it sounds cool for the first minute or 2, but by minute 3, you're kind of like, okay, this is getting a bit exhausting. And by minute 30, if you haven't left already, you're probably really sick of hearing double kicks. Dynamics are massively important. Big musical moments are only big because they're next to something small. A track that tries to be huge from start to finish fails because it adjusts what is normal. If you're already going all out, how are you going to have a climax above that? Think about why breakdowns are so popular. You got a song that's going along that's full of energy. Then all of a sudden there's halftime, there's loads of space, and there's a whole bunch of other shifts that have happened that allow us to do something with this energy we've been building up over the last few minutes. Do you think a song that's essentially breakdown after breakdown would have the same impact? How about a song that is just relentlessly fast that doesn't have a breakdown? No, both these options are smaller because they are static in terms of energy. Breakdowns just provide a significant shift. Obviously, breakdowns aren't the only option, and bands like Lamb of God do have that relentless double kick thing going, but if you pay careful attention, you see that they change the energy in different ways. Do what you can to shift the energy throughout your song. Thank me later. Riffitis. This is a newly discovered disease that has been coined by me and it plagues guitarists globally. If you don't currently have it, then you have either experienced it in the past or you're going to experience it in the future. Riffitis is when you've written the perfect riff, it sounds great, but for some fucking reason it won't fit with any other piece of music that you can think of. Nothing else is anywhere near as good as this perfect little loop. It's a riff that's damned to spend eternity being a singular piece of musical genius that will never be able to grace the masses that it should. There are 3 things that you can do about this in order of importance. Number 1 is practice writing more than one section at once. I usually write a minimum of 2 sections, so whether that's the verse and a pre-chorus, the verse and a chorus, the chorus and a post-chorus, the bridge and the chorus, something like this. The purpose is I never want to get stuck in riffitis. If I've got 2 ideas that are already working together, then when I come back, I can go, okay, cool, I've got a verse and a chorus, now I need a pre-chorus to throw in the middle there, or maybe I need a bridge. Basically, I've got a song that I'm working on, and now I just need to fill out other details before the song's complete. And in this way, it's much easier to finish my composition than it is if I just had a riff. Number 2 is write another section to your riff. This sounds really dumb because, like, the whole point of riffitis is that you can't. But riffitis only occurs because of judgment of your composition. If you write another section, no matter how good or bad or whatever else, you now have more of a song to work with. Maybe you started with what you feel is a chorus, you've then written this terrible verse, but together these have inspired you to write a really cool bridge. You can actually then work to complete the entire song, knowing that in the future you're going to replace that verse. And this is great because now you're finalizing a song rather than just having a riff that you can't do anything with. And finally, number 3 is ignore that fucker. Record it somewhere so you don't forget, but revisit this thing in 6 months or 2 years or 10 years when you've got more experience and you've got a better capacity to fill out a song around this perfect riff. Number 4, don't overcomplicate ideas. It's pretty common that people see metal as overwhelming, especially if we're not used to the genre. It's a genre that commands attention because it's supposed to be aggressively in your face. People often mistake this for being complicated, and sure, plenty of metal is very complicated, but complicated doesn't mean inaccessible. Humans can only really focus on a couple of things at once. 2 is okay, 3 is pushing it, 4 is extreme. If you've got a crazy drum groove that's supposed to receive as much attention as this guitar lead line over the top, while your singer's screaming their hearts out and trying to get all the attention that's left over, you've got chaos. You simply need to pick your battles. So maybe that means simplifying the drum groove, or removing the lead line, or having the singer just chill out for a sec. But there are ways to balance this. Instead of having the drums, the guitar, and the vocals right in your face, if you pick just one to be up front, you're going to get a different texture. Pick the one that has the most impact. If you choose your drums to go in the background, they're going to act more like a texture and create a cool kind of vibe for a section. If the drums are the one that need to come out the front, then the rest of the music is going to act as the vibe, supporting the drums. Many immature compositions try to cram all this stuff right up in front of your face the whole time. Instead of having the impact that it's intended to have, it just alienates people. People don't connect with the music. And I'm not saying don't do this for short climactic moments or something like that. It can be very cool when used intelligently. But remember that humans have a limited capacity for attention. Be smart about it. And number 5, emulate the masters. There is nothing wrong with deconstructing your favorite tracks and artists to see how their songs work. There is nothing wrong with you creating your own experimental compositions to try and emulate this. And there is nothing wrong with you borrowing or quoting ideas from your favorite tracks and artists. As creators, we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, as they stood on the shoulders of those who came before them, and so on. By exploring what they did and how they did it, you get an education that directly benefits your creativity. Think about it. If you've experimented with writing 10 choruses in the style of Slipknot, 10 in the style of Northlane, and 10 in the style of Parkway Drive, you're going to have a huge amount of experience in creating 3 different styles of choruses. Then you can create your own chorus that has the texture of Slipknot, the emotion of Parkway Drive, and the performance of Northlane. People who hear this may be able to connect the influences that you've drawn upon for this idea, but they will still think that it's your own original idea, unless you steal something directly. And that's it for this video. There's loads more that goes into songwriting. If you want to learn more, jump on my songwriting playlist. But with these 5 tips, you should be able to avoid the biggest problems that I've found in writing metal. Bye-bye.